Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show. We got our guy, Mr. Anthony Schlegel here, and it's Wednesday. Wednesdays are for AJ, but unfortunately, Schlegs, he's not going to be able to join us today. I don't know if it's because he's super big time now. Maybe
he's so big time. He's so big time, Bob.
Well, there's opportunity there for him. And I don't have a vote. There's 50 people that have the votes for this. But, Pat, if you can throw this up here, I mean, AJ's in like the final, I don't know. It's like 100, 150. I have no idea if there's a number to it. You get enough recommendations or whatever nominations to where at some point you get nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So he's in like the selection box where the 50 people, Schlegs, are allowed to then – the 50 voters, there's 32 voters, one for each team. And then there's one for the Pro Football Writers Association, which is a 2-year appointment. And then the other 17 are at large. There's only 4 people on there. I think like Tony Dungy, Dan Fouts being 2 of them. I can't think of the 2 others that are former players who work in the media.
Matthews, right? Wasn't he on there?
No, he's not. Not for the selectors. I'm talking about not the people that can get it. I'm talking about the people that select. So there's 50 people then on this list that vote to get this down to the finalists. So AJ is in that conversation. I mean, will he get in? I don't probably think so. But the fact that he's gotten to this point, Schlegs, and he'll probably be at this point for a number of years, is pretty tremendous on his part.
No doubt. It's funny how, I mean, geez, people in their comments, they're like, Clay Matthews is way better. I'm like, dude, this was, I literally tweeted back out that caption with let's get him in, because that's pretty sweet that you have a former teammate that even is nominated for that. And then I just get like, Clay Matthews is so much more deserved. Like, he's amazing. Like, his stats were awesome.
Yeah, there's a chance.
Like, what the hell do you want? Like, I'm sorry that I have a relationship with this guy, and I just said, let's get him in. I didn't necessarily know I need a rebuttal from a bunch of AYOs about other people's stats. Like, I could give 2 craps. They're all great players that we could all aspire to be and how they played the game. And like, what the Sam Dickens are we talking about? I don't get it. People are weird.
Oh, Schlegs, I mean, people want to get angry. You got to give them an avenue to be angry at this point in their life. But I'd rather just congratulate our guy, Mr. Aaron James Hawk, on job well done. And, here's the thing. He's not doing anything new that's going to help him get in the Hall of Fame. Kind of is what it is at this point. I mean, his career is his career. So he's going to be able to look at that and hopefully people will make the determination. Like I said, I don't think he gets in, but the fact that he's made it this far, I think is a testament to him. And the fact that he's the all-time leading tackler in Green Bay Packer history, I think is pretty sweet, Schlegs. So
yeah,
I mean,
this is a juicy class there, Bob.
It is. It's a very juicy
Drew
class.
Brees, Larry Fitzgerald,
Jason
Rivers, dude, guy you played with.
You know, I always thought Jason would get in on the first shot. I don't know if that's going to be real or not, but we'll see ultimately what happens with it. So yeah, the Hall of Fame's real. Love seeing Buckeyes get in there. I was looking at like other potential Buckeyes that could have that opportunity in the future. I don't know if Zeke has enough steam to ultimately get there. Some of the young wide receivers probably in that class that could maybe, I thought Michael Thomas would sustain success. Unfortunately, he had some injuries and had some stuff that didn't go his way. So probably not him. I mean, Nick Bosa was looking really good. I mean, he has a Defensive Player of the Year. Unfortunately, he got hurt again, and that's probably what's going to hurt his candidacy. He needs to rack up probably a couple more first-team All-Pros. Maybe winning a Super Bowl helps. But it's just good for the Buckeyes when you ultimately have more guys in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not like you're going to a school because of how many Hall of Famers they have, but I would say this, the fact that I was talking to a parent the other day. We were just talking football. And it's like what makes Ohio State so special, and it's that brotherhood, and it's the fact that all these guys like come back and live. And matter of fact, I think Nick Mangold is on the offensive lineman list too, Bob. So
Nick has made like 7 or 8 Pro Bowls. So I mean, he's got like more a more valid shot, I think, than AJ does. Pat wants to say, can you guess how many Ohio State guys are in the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame? Do you know, Schlegs?
I'm guessing off the top of my head. I'm going to say 15.
It's too high. I want to say it's 11, and that's like players, coaches. Steve Sable, who created NFL Films, is a Ohio State grad. I'm going to say 9. Put the list up. 10. I was one off. Price is Right rules, though.
Dude, you were in the middle. You had that thing sandwiched, Bob. That's
Yeah.
a Bob sandwich.
Well, every day I walk by when I go in the Woody Hayes, I walk through the main entrance, and they have the list. And I've never really counted it, but I was just trying to space it in my head. I'm like, I feel like it's somewhere in that 8 to 12 range. Probably should have just middled that. I said 11, then 9. But yeah, they're right there with a good number of them. And that's something that prominence helps when you go in there and see, like, these are some great players that have been there and have done some unbelievable things. So it's always a great thing to see. I think Nick Mangold's probably got a decent shot. You know, I was trying to get Nick to come on the show today, by the way. He's unfortunately getting dialysis right now, Schlegs. I think I joke with Nick. I mean, if he dies, he might have a better shot at getting in because then everybody loves you more. Like then you're like above reproach. I don't want to see that for my friend.
Hell no.
Our friend, I want him to live. I want him to be good. But it's like, man, once you're done playing, you get even better. And then if you happen to pass away prematurely, like then it's like people forget all of the stuff that you ever did wrong. Like you only did good things in this world. So
get him in. He's dead.
Yeah.
Why not?
Here it is. Chris Carter, Sid Gilman, Lou Groza, Dante Lavelli, Dick LeBeau, Orlando Pace, Jim Parker, Ed Sable, Bill Willis. And I always took a lot of pride in this, wearing number 42, playing for both the Browns, and then mostly with the Dolphins, have a lot of success down there, Mr. Paul Warfield, and what he brought to the table. So wearing number 42 at Ohio State, that was a big deal for me to make sure, like, to feel that he was a guy that was probably the most notable guy to ever wear 42. So Buckeyes right there.
Luke Montgomery, he's the most notable guy to wear 51. I'll tell you that. The freaking Mueller out there making me feel good.
AJ Hawks should go in the Hall of Fame. It's in the Ohio State Hall of Fame. NFL will be tough. Mangold could have a shot.
I think he's in the College Football Hall of Fame too, is he not, Bob?
I think you're probably right. I mean, he did win a Lombardi Award. So
Paul Pososby won the Butkus that year.
Yeah, unfortunately. James won the Butkus. Is that
James won a crap ton. James was like a 3-time All-American.
Yeah, he won a bunch of stuff.
He won the Butkus and another Doomajig.
He won a lot of stuff. What I want to talk about, those Schlegs, improvement week is what they're at with Ohio State. You're going to be heading over to practice today. They did corrections yesterday. It was like a Sunday-style practice on Tuesday. Talked a little bit on Monday about the guard rotation. Talked yesterday about some of the running back rotation. Let's talk big picture now.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, you're getting spicy here.
Well, just things that the Buckeyes need to improve on during improvement week. I'm not talking about position battles, but are there situations, are there things that come to your mind that you think that they need to get a little better at?
Yeah, special teams. Poof David Copperfield. It's one glaring deal, my honest opinion. I think I'll let you go to the run game next, but I think personally, the punt game, the field goal kicking is the number one area of improvement that they have to be ready to go. I remember seeing too many things, lack of execution, whether it's from the punt, whether it's from the kick, whatever the case may be, punt coverage. Where are the weaknesses? I think they've been really good on kickoff return, but are there opportunities? The hardest thing now,
you don't get a whole lot of opportunities for kickoff return.
No,
it's a good thing.
Nor even punt return. But like, again, when you're man, there's a great quote. I forgot if I put it in the Doomajig, but I think it was Lombardi. You will never reach perfection, but in the chase for perfection, you can catch excellence, right? Something to that effect, right? And that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. And so the glaring element to the 2025 Ohio State football is special team execution. And I guarantee you they're going to be focusing on it this week.
So, yeah, some of that's the punt. Obviously, the fake punt that they had against them, some of the punt return stuff. The kickoff, I feel like, has been pretty good for the most part. Probably get a little more out of the kickoff return, but that's probably situation Schlegs, one of the superior special units that Jim Tressel always talked about. That's something I'm sure they're leaning in on and wanting to improve and work on, especially when you had the glaring situation with and it wasn't really even a fake punt. It was a situation where the punter wasn't called from the sideline. Punter looks around. It's like there's nobody there. And nobody's forcing the kick, which every single punt block or return, whatever it is, there is someone who is forcing the kick, and their job is to watch the ball come off the punter's foot, make sure you're in position to tackle him should that not be the case. And unfortunately, that did not transpire the way that they would have liked it to against Wisconsin. Other area, I think, red zone offense, Schlegs.
Okay, talk about it.
I think they've been pretty good, and I don't have the exact numbers here, but I know people have kind of got a little bit upset. They've had to settle for some field goals sometimes against teams that you feel like you should be able to just go on. And I think that might be a function of maybe the red zone run, which will extrapolate to the larger run in general. But whenever you're down in the red zone, things are compressed. Yep. Safeties are now at 8 yards as opposed to 10 to 12. Like there is no need to run off. So you don't have nearly as much space. So Urban always say, if you don't have the quarterback run to change and imbalance the math with getting an extra hat out there to block, then you've got to be really good in the run game, and you have to be a precision throwing the precision with your passing game. They've been very precise. Julian's been very good in the pass game. They've missed one here or there, but I mean, you look at some of the stuff that he's done down there with JJ, the one he threw to Carnell, like he's done some really good stuff. But they've got to seem to find a way to get that push, and Ryan push up front running the ball. And Ryan talked about this, and this can kind of go to maybe even the bigger running game at large, Schlegs, where he's like having the mental discipline to be able to stay focused on the play, to make sure you can execute the things that are practiced. When people are moving, to understand what's going to happen, how that's going to impact you, whether that's a gap scheme, whether it's a zone scheme, and what you're trying to accomplish with both.
Yeah. I think part of that too is the acumen, the football acumen of the running backs, Bob, when it's like, when they go to this is what this is going to be. Who is my free hitter? What am I going to do? How am I going to hit this hole? And it goes back to what you were alluding to the other day, Bob. It's hey, if it's here, I need you to get 8. If it's here, I need you to get 4 to 6, right? Like that mentality.
If it's blocked for 1, get me 3. If it's blocked for 4, get me 6 or 7. Like you've got to create value.
Yep.
All right. Don't just give me what's out there. You got to go create your own value as a running back. This is Ohio State. This isn't some average guy off the street. You're not talking about giving me the ball. I can go get 3 on that play. Go give me 7.
Yeah. And we also saw last game the ability of using the running backs out of the backfield. That helps that, right? So if you want to play zone, if you're going to leak them out, like, yeah, you got to cover it, but now you're 12 yards deep and you're going to dump it off to a guy that make another dude in space miss. Because that's the game of football. It's space and angles and putting better athletes in space on lesser athletes. Like that is the case. But I will say this, and it goes back to what improvement week will be. And it's not necessarily I'm going to talk about depth charts or anything like that. But I would say like the dudes that have been hitting the hole and some of the surprises, but it's also the learning curve that happens. And I think it's a testament to the way Coach Lachlan has been developing guys, and Ryan has been slow playing this, because it's not about winning in October or September. It's about being a contender in November and throughout the playoffs. And that is the freshman running backs have really made a statement throughout this season.
Yeah, they've looked good. They've done some good things. Speaking of freshman running backs, guys come to Ohio State as freshmen. They come straight from high school, and that means they're seniors. You can have NIL in college. There are 44 states that allowed NIL plus the District of Columbia. There were 6 that didn't, Ohio being one of them. There was a lawsuit that came down, spearheaded by a receiver out of Wayne, who is the number 1 player in the state and one of the top players in the country, top wide receiver, I believe, as well. We're going to dive into this NIL situation in the state of Ohio. I know a lot of people in the chat are talking about it. If you are from Ohio, care about Ohio, like, and all this, there's a lot of things that are being said, boogeyman out there, all this different stuff. We'll start to break all that down for you and do that here coming up next. So stay tuned and stay locked in for that. I want to tell you about FanDuel. They've got an offer you don't want to miss. New customers bet 5, you get and you win, you get $300 in bonus bets. That's right. Pick a bet $5. If it wins, unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. Build your parlays, player props, ride the live lines, whatever you do. FanDuel, they've got you covered. NFL season is here. Only question is, are you ready to play? Must be 21 older and present in Ohio or 21 older and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is not withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. More of the Bobby Carpenter Show on Ohio NIL coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show. And as we talked about, little NIL situation that happened in the state of Ohio. And it's only a matter of time before I felt like this happened. And I think it probably should happen more. Pete Thamel was reporting Jameer Brown, country's number 2 prospect in the class of 27. That is number 2 overall, folks, is the centerpiece of a lawsuit filed in Ohio seeking injunctive relief to be able to benefit from his NIL while in high school. Ohio is one of the 6 states that prohibit NIL. Pete Thamel reported on that. That was October 15th. Now, coming up, I believe, yesterday, update on it, Jameer Brown won a temporary restraining order yesterday for both he and high school athletes and the 818 schools within the state of Ohio to benefit on their NIL. Also, Brown signed, coincidentally, Schlegs, in an unrelated story, Brown signed a trading card deal with Leaf today. The OHSA will hold an emergency vote on the issue soon. Now, one other bit of information. The Ohio high school principals voted on this, I want to say 2 years ago, voted no. And it was like maybe 60-40. I don't know why, because they acted like, well, we don't want this professionalism coming. There's not these big dollars that are going to be going around with kids jumping schools. But outside of that, Tim Streed, who's the OHSA's communications director, he's a bit of a Yahtzee, but he came out, Schlegs, and was like, well, we're holding this emergency meeting. The principals have known about this for a while. The schools have. I'm like, listen, if you're telling them that you're going to get sued eventually, why not just have the vote beforehand to stave off the lawsuit? Why does it have to go here? Why does the injunction have to be granted? Then we're going to have the vote. Should have told them that the movement was in the momentum was in place for this. And by the way, it's proven in court that you can't, it's not going to hold up. And so why are you dragging your feet on this? I don't understand it. But the injunction allowed it to happen as per Pete Thamel. And excited to see that because Jameer Brown, some of these guys, they'll leave and they'll go play basketball or football down in Florida or IMG, these other schools and places where they can do some of this stuff. And it's not necessarily that they want to leave, but if you can make money in high school because you're a big-time high school guy, especially some of these big-time high school basketball players, when you leave the state, it's harder to get the guys to come back.
Yeah.
Like they go to another school, all of a sudden they're out there. Like, you're an Ohio kid, but now you've experienced some other things. And like, you're not surrounded by your classmates living, in the zip codes that reside in Ohio. So it's just a little bit different. And I'm about keeping Ohio kids in Ohio when given the opportunity.
And there's a lot that goes into this, Bob, just like we should have spring football, like you do in Texas, more development.
Got a little bit of that. And so hopefully that might be the next lawsuit, I hope.
But here's the other thing too. And this is what I'm getting from the gist of the chat. And I own high school. Do you like it? Probably not. Do you like it, the fact that now you can start paying kids to come play on select travel teams, right, Bob? And somebody in the comments is like, yeah, it's a razor's edge as to like.
But let me ask you, select travel teams, who does that affect?
Again, very select amount of people, right? So the point being is this. Everybody, and that's what I said, everybody that's in our chat, everybody that's out there walking around would love to be able to get paid and compensated simply for the work that they've done and created a brand in and of themselves to get monetary value for that. I said in there, I would love to get some type of NIL deal with a farming company, and I would just stop what I'm doing and selectively just train people and be a farmer and hunt this amazing Ohio weather right now and
Farm Thanksgiving show.
Talk on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And guess what? You can do that, right? You got to work for it, but who's to say that people are going to come up with every single kid? Like the juice is not worth the squeeze for some of them.
Yeah.
To be able to give them the money that's going to drive revenue for those businesses.
Well, it's not worth it for the overwhelming number of kids. You're talking about a small fraction that it's going to impact. And God bless it. If there's a business that says, hey, I want to give a kid $10,000 to move into this district and be able to do this and play there, great. What I also say, Schlegs, is the OHSA has fairly strict transfer rules.
100%.
How that goes down. It's not like it's a portal. You just zip in, zip out. You know, if you transfer, you have to prove residency. It's got to be so many miles away.
I had to do that in high school, Bob. I transferred high schools in Texas.
For wrestling.
For wrestling. And they were like, well, you can't do it. No, I literally physically moved from DeSoto to the outskirts of Highland Park, though in their district because we couldn't afford it. But like we were living on SMU's campus, basically.
Yeah, buddy. That sounds like a good
Garland. My mom worked up in Garland. And so, and my dad worked in Dallas. And UIL took over wrestling and DeSoto didn't want to have a wrestling team. So I was like, yeah, I'm here. And it was fine because we went through the process. It's not like you can just go jump ship and we're going to start. They're already doing that. They're like, hey, you can come to our school and you might get a scholarship. Matter of fact, I was in Texas and it was, Witten's over at Legacy, if I'm not mistaken, Bob. That's up in Denton. Really good football.
Sure, that makes sense. I don't know where. I mean, they live in South Lake, but his kids don't go. They go to private school, which maybe
that's the one he coaches. That's Legacy.
Yeah.
Anyways, like they can give kids, again, when you're in TAPS, a different level than OHSAA, where the Catholic schools, Christian schools play all the regular schools in Texas. They have their own division. It's TAPS, right? You can do whatever you want in that school if you're under the TAPS banner. You can give kids a discount. You can give kids a scholarship. Some schools don't, and that's what you get. You know what I'm saying? So, but who cares, right? Our rules here in the great state of Ohio is there's transfer policies, and you just can't go from one school to the other. There has to be a process, and you got to abide by that. But for a kid, I kind of look at it this way. If you're down there in Ironton, right, and former linebacker, right, Rocco is from there, down there, right, Bob?
Who?
Carrio?
Reed Carrico.
Oh, Reed.
Rocco.
I know,
Carrico.
Rocco. I like it. First off,
you put the C's in the wrong deal.
Okay. That's okay. He's at West Virginia now, if I'm not mistaken.
Reggie Ironton, Hank Whaley, also from Ironton.
And guess what? Mark Snyder. That's what I was going through. Hey, listen, here's the deal, though. If you're down there in Ironton, I love Ironton, by the way. If you're down there and those kids are doing well and they're playing great football down there, and you got somebody like, hey, I want to give you 5 captains, an NIL deal to come move the needle on this car dealership, charge it to winning. That's on that business to be able to do that.
That's what someone said. I pay enough in school taxes. I don't want it. I'm like, time out. This isn't coming from the schools. It's coming from the businesses. Like it's not, there's no money. There are no tax dollars diverted. Just like none of the tuition, people get upset about the tuition in Ohio State. I go, none of your tuition dollars go to pay for anything in athletics. Athletics at Ohio State is completely self-subsidized. And actually they pay money to the university for that. So it's not like there's public funds that are being transferred. The NIL dollars that are paid or the revenue share that comes out of the $85 million pot that the university makes or the school makes from TV deals that is driven by the players. So it's not anybody spending anyone else's money. Like if businesses want to do this, it's the same thing, in NIL and with high school kids. So I know that it's like a bad word. People get upset about it. They act like there's going to be like ultimate corruption with it. I mean, it's like if you want to have some local, diner that wants to say, hey, we'll pay you $500 to come in here and sign some autographs and you get a free meal every Wednesday.
Oh, you can eat buffet. Like, yeah. We heard the Marshall coach talking about that biscuit company. I've eaten there when I went into West Virginia. That's a hell of a deal. You know, and it's funny too. I think sometimes we forget, like NIL back with us, Bob, was like, I was just trying to get an extra scoop of chicken on my Chipotle bowl by sweet talking. You know, like how you do it when you go in there, like, yeah, I'll take a bowl to go. They're like, oh yeah, chicken, please. And then you watch how big the first scoop is. Like, oh, can I get another? Okay, cool. Oh, don't worry about. Oh, you didn't circle the C on there? Wink. I got you, man. Appreciate that.
So no one was better than the lady at the Subway who used to hook us up.
Oh my gosh.
Huge meat sandwiches.
Oh my goodness, Bob.
$4.99 or $5.99.
$5 footlongs, and it was quadruple meat.
Oh, it was so much meat, Schlegs. It was a real meat out.
That was right there behind where the current Canes is on the old Tangent River
it's
Road.
right there over. It's called
by Hamby's apartment.
Yeah, it's called the City. It was right there on the corner of the city, right there. We used to go there. I do pop over to Kroger sometimes and grab some beers too while we're hanging out. It's always
not
good.
At the Woody.
Yeah, no beers in the Woody, unfortunately. Maybe get in the hot tub, Schlegs, hang out. They got TVs in there now. It wouldn't be bad to kind of kick back, watch a beer, have a beer,
have a cold sud. Just a man sitting with his buddies. Drink some
Are you Andy Dufresne up here?
Redemption, yeah.
You're always going to let that slide by?
No, I know you wouldn't.
Just like you can't ever slide anything by me. We're long for a break here, but I was glad to see that NIL restraining order put in place. And folks, I'm going to tell you, the game is not going to feel any different in high school. All you're going to do is see any elite players at the high end are not going to leave anymore, and that's going to be great. So that is going to be a positive for this team. Some big news was made. I don't know if it's big news. Maybe it was sliding under the radar. It was a big statement made, though, by what many would say is Ohio State's best player in Jeremiah Smith. Some predictions for this year's team, how he feels about them relative to last year. Find out about that next here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. But first, parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export Mouthguards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export Mouthguards, they feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber. They 3D print that bad boy for more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication. It'll protect your teeth and your brain, and that way you can focus on your game and not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. What did J.J. Smith say about this coming season? Find out next.
Create it, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, welcome back to the Bobby Carpenter Show. Our guy, J.J. Smith, Schlegs.
Oh, what did he say, Bob?
What did he say? Said some big things. He was talking, I think this was maybe after the game. He was talking with our guy, former Buckeye running back, Beanie Wells, of just how he feels about this team and what this team brings to the table. Pat just tossed that up there when you get a shot of being able to do it. And then click over so we can hear it straight from the horse's mouth, because I don't want any room for interpretation on this, Schlegs, about how he feels about this team versus last year's squad. Oh, hang on the audio. Pat's still working there.
Freaking audio.
He feels better about the team this year. Said this team is better. Schlegs. I mean, it's a big statement. It's a bold statement. There's a lot to it, given the fact that last year you won a national championship.
Yep.
Guys, anything?
Yeah,
else?
well, I mean, you know what? This brings me back to the point.
Here it is.
All right, I'll let him say.
You got the audio now, Pat. Here it is.
How do you guys do that in the same sense, pitting out what you did last year, not in the forefront of what you guys want to do this year?
Yeah, I feel like that's last year's team. This year's team, we want to make a name for ourselves. We want to go down in the history books as a team that did it back to back. So I feel like this team is better than last year's team. That's what I feel.
Ooh, I love it.
And where's that national championship game?
The Curl, Miami.
The crib, Miami. If you don't know, JJ is a South Florida guy. Miami wanted him pretty darn bad, and I think everybody now realizes why. And I think it'd be fitting. You talk about a guy that's grinding and wants to go back. Winning a national championship in your home state, in your home city, would be pretty darn sweet, especially Schleggs, if you're a guy that chose to leave. But he said that they're better this year. Why do you think he said that?
Well, I think it goes into, like somebody mentioned yesterday, or we talked about it. I forget, my days run together. Where did what go? Where did who go? And the point is this. They were talking about Jeremiah Smith getting bored, Jeremiah Smith not engaged or whatever, right? And we told you, just watch his perimeter blocking. The dude's engaged. Why does he feel that way? Well, one, you got a quarterback that's completing 80% of his passes. Two, you have, for him speaking, you have a great wide receiver room. You have a great tight end room. You have a great offensive line that have protected Julian saying very well. Oh, side nugget, you have that defense. Like when you go through and you look at all these things to go win on the road, what has to travel besides your tough gutchies? A defense. They done that. So, and again, these guys watch ball too. They're watching ball. Like they're watching other DBs. They're watching these things. They're like, dude, no, we got that. Like they're number 4 in the country, or they're number 5 in the country, or they're number 8 in the country. Like, okay. So guess what? You're going to get your opportunities in all this as this season plays out. But that's why he feels good, because when they go out to practice and you and I get to witness what we witnessed last Tuesday, Bob, and what I'm going to go witness probably what today is on a Wednesday on an improvement week, it's juicy. And that confidence comes from guys getting better week in and week out, and the execution rising. And they know that they just got to go out there and win their one-on-ones, and they're fine.
And so when you look at this position by position, I commented on this in like the spring/summer, and then again, like right around the start of training camp. So this team might be more talented. You look at some of the guys that popped in there, Schleggs, Arvell Reese, like more physically gifted than Cody Simon. And that's not a knock on Cody. Cody was a great
not at
player,
all.
Blocko guy, everything you wanted. Arvell Reese is a little more that. You look at Lathan Ransom, similarly, our guy who I absolutely love. You look at Jalen, probably a little more physically gifted. Is he as experienced and smart? Well, that's where you've got to develop that. Got the corners back. Defensive line's gone. Matt Patricia's probably cooked up some good stuff in the lab so that they've been able to work and kind of get Arvell up there, brought in Bo. Like they've done some good things with that. But obviously it's not 4 starters that have started, 2+ years for all of them. Lost 2 running backs. You lost your quarterback. Running backs, maybe we start to figure out here for the next couple of weeks. Julian isn't Will. He's different, but he can put the ball wherever the heck he wants it. And they've got the same receiving core. Now, they lost to Mecca, but dude, you brought in Ennis and Tate, and I think Tate is playing at a crazy level right now.
Yep.
So when he says they're better, you start looking around objectively and talking about position by position. And then also the fact that there's a handful of these guys, Schleggs, who have been there before now, who have won it. And I think you took an upgrade at the defensive coordinator position. And we'll see how Brian Hartline continues to grow. There's a lot for him, obviously, but he's been doing a really good job. But this team just feels more complete this year, which is kind of crazy to say.
Yeah, when you go, I like how you did that dive, Bob.
It's a deep dive.
The biggest thing on defense was the upgrade in Matt Patricia, and you and I both spoke about it, but it wasn't necessarily, again, how are you going to say upgrade when you're really the best defense in college football last year? Well, you can only validate that through what they've done in the first 7 games. But what I do like is the ability to allow our guys to play fast and violent and utilize their skill sets to the best of not only their own ability, but the benefit of the defense as a whole. And he's able to do that regardless of what you give. So as much as we like Lathan, right? Like he's gone. You look at some of the voids on the defensive side of the ball. The question of who's going to replace a Tyleek.
Tuesday's gone is what I heard.
Right. Who's going to replace a Tyleek? Well, K-Mac has done a very admirable job. Who's going to
K-Mac's
replace?
Probably. I mean, he's been a monster inside.
He has been. And and that's kind of the why. Listen, when you go into the season and everybody's talking about all the things that you're missing, and you go throughout the winter and spring football and the
Winter is
summer
coming,
and camp. What's that?
Winter is coming.
I love it. You just throwing all these out there, Bob. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Will Howard. Winter, anyways, you got me sidetracked, dadgummit. But the fact is this, he's seen the culmination, the growth from all these guys that filled the void of what left when you have 14 draft picks. And I think when he makes that statement, it's like, I think we're better, but he's seeing it in practice. He can only validate it from what he's seen there. And there were some absolute grown men last year on that team. So to have a young team, here's where it's really going to matter, guys. This is what I want you to see. When you start getting the depth on there that's playing at another high level, like that's what I want. I know when we won the national championship last year and in 2014, we always talk about the 10-80-10 rule. You had about 35 dudes, and those are significant contributors in a variety of ways, special teams, offense, defense, that were in that top 10. We're like, well, hell, that's called 35%. Exactly. But that's the top 10 of the elite, not necessarily in talent, but in mindset. We talked about that. Personalities can differ. Mindset has to be the same. The mindset of what it requires to be elite. Because you have a younger team, how do you get those younger guys to make that jump into the top 80 and the top 80 into the top 10? And that's when you have confidence as a sophomore, being able to say that, you're seeing your teammates start to make that growth and that jump into that top 10 of what you're going to need down the line in November in the playoffs.
Absolutely. We're going to long for a break. We're going to take one here, but we're going to tell you about our friends at Backer First. Brand new Buckeye gear. It's elite. They've got other college football programs as well. BCKRbacker.com. Go check them out. Founded on making the highest quality fan gear you're going to find. It's got all the features and functionality you're looking for, like the high-end skiing, fishing, golfing, hunting stuff. It is great. It looks good. It feels even better from wind to rain to cold to the hats. They've got it all for you. So go check them out. BCKR.com, BCKR.com. That is Backer. You got free shipping right now. So go check them out and get those Christmas orders purchased up for your loved ones. We got our headlines with some coaching news and some decisions on why they were made coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Oh, now it's our headlines brought to you by our friends at Lake Spur Marketing. They pride themselves on delivering powerful and positive results. They're a full transparency marketing agency who will be with you every step of the way. They're in constant communication with their clients at Lake Spur Marketing. There isn't a set it and forget it strategy. All their tactics are customized to your needs. Trust the experts. Trust Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in their partners. Visit lakespurmarketing.com today. All right, Schlegs.
Hit me, dog.
Fired James Franklin. Gray D came out and talked a little bit why. And I give him credit on Pat Kraft of him owning it. And these are the specific reasons why. And I'm going to juxtapose this with another decision here in a moment.
Okay, do it.
It's a small world we have, and we're all friends. And so you cannot make decisions of this magnitude lightly. So to say, we lost to Oregon and we lost to UCLA. No, it's about where are we as a program? Where are we going? How do I give my student athletes the best chance to win? How do I continue to build this to a place that we are the best program in the country? That's the motivation. And so as you start to put all those things together, you got to make the call.
So when you look at that, I mean, it wasn't one thing. It's cumulative. It's a culmination of a lot of things that happened. I think the fact that this year they believed they had spent a lot of money, they wanted to get it done, and they weren't there. And they lost to Oregon, no crime. UCLA is losing to Oregon twice. I get it. But then that Northwestern one, you start thinking, we've lost the culture. We've lost the plot. And so you move on. I don't I think they could have probably gave James a couple more weeks to give him more rope to see if he can either pull himself out or ultimately probably hang himself. Like, I think you do that and probably give him some time. People are like, hey, you know what? He wouldn't have beat Ohio State or Indiana. You don't know that. Maybe those guys rally behind him. But I think that there was a decision made before the season saying we need to kind of be here. We need to continue to advance it. Any backslide, we got to move on. We've spent so much and invested on him. Then you juxtapose that, Schlegs, with Kurt Signetti and his decision to ultimately stay at Indiana. And then we'll get your comments on this right after that, on why he wanted to stay there and why it really wasn't even a question for him.
Just walked in he comes in every Thursday and we chat about the game. And he popped in right before the player meetings on either Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember. I was watching tape. I was really consumed with prep. And he popped in for about a minute and a half and said, this is kind of what we'd like to do. Is it okay if we call you representative? And I said, sure, it'd be great. And within, within 48 hours, 36 hours, it was done.
So it's like when you want something done, it gets done. Whether it's a firing or a re-signing and an extending, like there's not a lot of hemming and hawing about it when you want to be decisive and you know it's the right move.
So here's my question with Penn State, because you brought it. What changed from going to a college football playoff semifinal to?
I don't think anything had changed. I think they viewed them being on the doorstep, and James had done a lot of good things. But
he wasn't the guy that carried you over.
There was a prevailing feeling that there was a dissatisfaction with the fans, and they weren't going to be able to explain away and raise more money and justify reinvesting in another team that he was coaching if it didn't look like they were taking the steps to get where they needed to get to.
So, I mean, you just look at this, Bob, and I totally understand, right? So his record, 11-3, 11-2, 9-4, 11-2, 4-5, COVID, 7-6, 11-2, 10-3, 13-3. And to me, maybe it goes back to, this would have been the real answer. Maybe they felt the decisions he was making from the coaching hires weren't the right ones, right? Like maybe he's not focusing on the main thing. He's focusing on, who could I get? And boom, we bring in Jim Knowles, but the offense has been stagnant, right? Yeah. But you've also had some of the top recruiting classes, obviously, because they had a relationship with James Franklin.
And that argument was like, okay, well, we have Drew Aller. Like, how much have you developed Drew Aller since he's been here? You know, it was
that goes into coaching.
Is it the coaching? Is it the fact we don't have any receivers? We paid a bunch of money to bring some guys in this year, and they still weren't throwing the ball. I don't think it's just the fact that they lost those 3 games. It's how they lost and then how they looked ultimately as well. And like the Oregon game, that wasn't getting him fired. Even the UCLA game, like they were coming back. Now they probably saw that 4th and 2 when he tried to run the quarterback zone read off a jet sweep, and they're thinking, we paid all these money for these 2 great running backs. Why are we not just lining it up and pounding down UCLA for 2 yards? Like, what are we doing? And then ultimately Northwestern, they beat you up, and it just didn't look good. So that's
probably made the call on that one.
The Northwestern call, that was when I think they thought you've lost the confidence of your team, your ability to motivate these guys to get them to play for you. It's homecoming. It is what I thought was the 2nd worst team in the Big Ten, which they may be the worst.
But they're 5-2 though.
They are 5-2, and they beat UCLA, and they've won some games. So maybe it's a misnomer with that, but Penn State just didn't look good all year, and so I get it. Like Ryan Day, after a tough loss, snap back. You know, and you see that, and you see the resolve and the confidence, and that's when it's hard when you see a guy right down the road who his team in the most difficult times, the team leans into each other and they actually get better. And then you see a 3-game slide, and I think that was as hard as anything. All right, that's it for our headlines. We got Tailgate Talk. We're answering some of your questions. It's been a lively chat today, so we'll grab some of those out of here. Coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Oh, I love this, Schlegs. One of the questions from E. Rogers 3819. Are Styles and Arvell the best linebacker combination in OSU history? And now the game has changed a little bit because you usually only play with 2 on the field. You play with 3 sometimes. It used to be always played with 3. And people brought up Pepper Johnson and Chris Spielman, which is great because both those guys were really good. They're great players. Really, they're great players. 2 of the best in Ohio State history to play together. Talking about, people were bringing up Kuzno, how he was so good. Spills is, I believe, the second all-time tackler. Marcus Merrick, who's the all-time leading tackler in Ohio State history. Now, also how the game has changed and what you're asked to do and the ability to get some of those tackles. There were some kind words, like some people threw you, AJ, and myself in there. Maybe that's why he didn't want to join, because he was embarrassed today to talk about his own greatness and some of the things going on. But it's funny. I was Chaos Junkie USA. I was born in 1988. These 2 are the best I've ever seen. It's amazing because that's 88 sound. Spills and Pepper were already done playing by then.
No, I think he's talking about Arvell and Sonny.
I know. I get that. That's my point.
Yeah.
Is like Randy Gradishar, who we listed earlier, the 10 Ohio State Hall of Famers. Randy Gradishar is one of those Ohio State alumni that's in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And what he was able to do. So there's been the list. Someone goes, I think you might be top 10. And they made this list, and I don't know. I think it was like 9 or 10. They're like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm like, sorry. I go, I don't know that I could really refute anybody that's above me. And there's probably conversations with guys that are below me. The linebacker list at Ohio State is much like the list at Top Gun, Schlegs, long and distinguished. You know what? Just like many other things.
Hey, and Chaos said he was talking about us. And I'm going to say this because I'm a realist. There's no way in hell that I could do the things that Arvell and Sonny do. Now, AJ and Bobby could. They were athletic freaks like that. I was just a meatball that wanted to go knock somebody's dent face mask. Like, that's what God made me to do. And there's a role to play with that, okay? But here's what I look at. When you have a guy like in Arvell, and I don't think people appreciate how hard this is, but the only reason that Matt Patricia does it is because he believes in the talent and ability of an Arvell Reese and Sonny, is to show on the line of scrimmage and be the hook curl rerouter on a scene.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's not ideal, but he can do that. Ain't no way this little chode body at 6'1.5", 250 at that time.
He gets swallowed up by a tackle. That's the problem. Is like Arvell is long enough that he can sit there, long arm, hold that tackle.
God can't teach length, guys. Yeah. God can't teach length.
Can't teach length. Can't give you the height.
And he's strong. And, that's why I've always told people, especially linebacker play, when you get unbelievable, like, hell, man, his name just freaking escaped me. Ryan Shazier was an absolute freak.
Yeah.
Like his ascension, I'm talking about a guy that should have been 6'4.5", but he had scoliosis and could run a 4.3 40, athletic freak. But when you take athleticism, God-given physical attributes of length, and then give them a football acumen to where they can play in a system in which they can utilize those assets and play really fast, that's when the magic happens. And I was talking to somebody on the phone today.
Hold on. Let's save that for your side nugget. All right.
No, I don't want to say it per se. You got a better side.
You were talking to on the phone today, talking about the unbelievable attribute of length. Steph said she's always preferred girth. That's why she loves you. We got side nuggets and parting thoughts with Anthony Schlegel coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, Schlegs, let's hit us.
No, I was just talking, and it's like, Arvell really surprised me. And last year, like you talked about it, Bob, like why was it? He wasn't ready. Like that system really wasn't for him. But Matt Patricia, this defense, the reason why he's escalated so rapidly, besides his play on the field, is his ability to fit in the pro game and what pro teams want to do. Like that's what Matty P has really brought. It's now they're seeing the defense in its entirety as to how does that look at the next level, and they see exactly where he could fit. And that's, again, with his play, but that's really been the thing. And that's why I love this hire, is because not only is he teaching them a system and the way to play football and the why behind it, he's setting them up for success at the next level, which we've seen Brian Hartline do with the wide receiver room and why they have so much success. And it's going to be the same for a lot of these defensive guys when they go to the next level, being under Matty P and those great coaches we have at Ohio State.
Absolutely. That is it for today's show. Stay locked in here tomorrow. We got Ben Scott Stevens, who's going to join us, getting you ready for the weekend. Ohio State's not playing, but there are a ton of great games out there. And I kind of enjoy it when they don't play, because then you can kind of gallivant around and moonlight on some of the other games. That's it for today's show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch up tomorrow on the Bobby Carpenter Show.